Ambassador Zixathera's crystalline appendages clicked dismissively against the polished obsidian table as she reviewed humanity's application for Galactic Council membership. The holographic display before her showed primitive chemical rockets, crude fusion reactors, and what the humans laughably called artificial intelligence, simple pattern recognition systems that wouldn't qualify as sentient even by the loosest standards. Another backwater species seeking legitimacy, she transmitted to her colleagues through quantum-entangled thought links. Their technology is barely above stone tools. They've only just achieved faster-than-light travel using brute force antimatter engines. Primitive, beyond measure. The Vorthak representative, a being of pure energy contained within a geometric force field, pulsed in agreement. Their mathematics are linear, their physics understanding rudimentary. They believe in discrete particles and wave functions, concepts we abandoned eons ago when we discovered the infinite layers. High Counselor Merdon, whose species had mastered dimensional folding before humanity's sun had formed, gestured with one of his 12 arms toward the data streams. Observe their greatest achievements, splitting atoms for energy, manipulating gravity through mass distortion, and these quaint devices they call quantum computers. It would be amusing if it weren't so pathetic. The decision was unanimous. Humanity's application was denied, again. 6 months later, long-range sensors detected an anomaly at the edge of Council space. 3 human vessels had appeared, not through conventional FTL corridors, but through what appeared to be controlled tiers in space-time itself. The ships didn't follow standard designs. They seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, their geometries shifting and flowing like liquid thought. Impossible, Zixathera whispered as she analyzed the sensor data. No species achieves dimensional phase shifting without at least 10,000 years of theoretical development. The human vessels approached the Council's primary station at Nexus Prime, and Admiral Chen Wei's voice crackled across communication channels in flawless galactic standard. Council representatives, this is Admiral Chen of the Terran Science Corps vessel Breakthrough. We're transmitting our updated membership application along with demonstrations of our recent technological advances. What followed defied everything the Council thought they knew about reality. The first vessel, Reality Forge, began manipulating the fundamental constants of physics within a localized field. Gravity became optional, time flowed backward in controlled pockets, and matter spontaneously transformed into energy and back again, according to the crew's will. The humans weren't just bending physics, they were rewriting it on the fly. The second ship, Paradigm Shift, demonstrated something that made even the ancient Vorthak gasp in shock. It began creating new dimensions, pocket universes that spawned, evolved entire civilizations within microseconds, then collapsed back into pure information. The humans were farming reality itself, harvesting the computational power of entire simulated cosmos to solve problems. But it was the third vessel that truly shattered the Council's understanding. The impossibility engine didn't just travel through space, it made space irrelevant. The ship existed everywhere and nowhere simultaneously, communicating with parallel versions of itself across infinite realities. Its crew had achieved something theoretically impossible. They had become multidimensional beings while retaining their humanity. How? The question came from Merdon, his usual arrogance replaced by genuine bewilderment. Admiral Chen's image materialized on the Council chamber's central platform, not as a hologram, but as a genuine dimensional projection that somehow existed in the same space as the original. You called our understanding primitive, she said, with a slight smile. You were absolutely right. The Council members exchanged confused glances through their various sensory apparatus. While you spent millennia perfecting what you already knew, Chen continued, we embraced our ignorance. Every human child learns that being wrong isn't failure. It's data. We built our entire scientific method around the assumption that we're probably wrong about everything. So we constantly test, question, and rebuild our understanding from scratch. She gestured to the impossible vessels floating outside. You saw our early fusion reactors and dismissed them as crude. You didn't realize that crude solutions taught us to manipulate strong nuclear forces. Our primitive quantum computers weren't trying to be elegant. They were exercises in controlled uncertainty. We weren't building technology. We were building intuition for chaos. Zixthara's appendages trembled as the implication sank in. You deliberately started from a position of wrongness? Every theory we ever developed began with someone saying, "I bet we're completely wrong about this," Chen replied. While you refined existing knowledge, we threw out our textbooks every generation and started over. We learned to see reality not as a fixed system to be mastered, but as a puzzle that enjoys being solved in new ways. The Reality Forge demonstrated the point by casually creating a stable micro-universe where mathematics worked differently, where 2 plus 2 equaled orange, and somehow made perfect sense within that context. High Counselor Merdon lowered all 12 arms in a gesture of surrender. Your application for council membership is approved, with the highest honors. Admiral Chen nodded graciously. Actually, we're withdrawing our application. The silence that followed was absolute. You see, Chen explained, we've realized something important. The Council represents species who've reached the pinnacle of their understanding. You're masters of a known universe. But we've discovered that mastery is limitation. Every time we think we understand reality completely, we discover we were beautifully wrong, and that opens doors to impossibilities we never imagined. She smiled again, and this time her dimensional projection smiled from angles that shouldn't have existed. We're forming our own alliance, the coalition of the perpetually wrong. We're inviting any species brave enough to admit they don't understand anything, and curious enough to be delighted by their ignorance. As the 3 impossible ships prepared to depart, folding space-time around them like origami, Zixthara made a decision that would have been unthinkable hours before. Admiral Chen, she transmitted, would the coalition accept a species that's just realized it might be completely wrong about everything? The laugh that came back wasn't just heard, it resonated through dimensions, causing reality to ripple with joy. Welcome, Chen replied, to the beginning of real science.